Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Trina Duhart here with a new video for you. Welcome to What If Deku Met Ryoko Part 15. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So we begin. After the internships ended, the 1A students all returned to UA and found themselves faced with their finals. After a few weeks of training, the group were forced to face their teachers in the practical exam to pass. Nothing much changed from canon. Notably, Ryoko and Melissa were paired together and passed with flying colors. Aizawa gathered his class to give them the results.
I am sorry to say that several of you did not pass the practical exam. These individuals are Kirishima, Kaminari, Ashido, and Sero.
These members had already known that they didn't pass. They knew that failing meant they did not get to go to the summer training camp, but instead meant spending the break in summer school. The thought of not being with their friends put the four in a deep depression. Hearing it confirmed just made them feel worse.
As for the training camp, everyone's going.
The four failing students started to rejoice at this news. The dark-haired man explained,
The teachers never had any intention of splitting you up. The training camp will help increase your power. Those that failed will need those lessons the most.
Aizawa got a stern look in his eyes and added,
However, failure is failure. You four will have extra classes that will make you wish you were in summer school.
The four flunkies frozen in fear from the thought of what their harsh teacher was going to put them through. Aizawa told the students to pick up a pack for the camp before they left, and to turn in the permission forms by the end of the week. The students all looked over the packet for the camp. Many of them realized that they were going to need supplies before they left. The bubbly Toru Hagakure came up with the idea for the class to go shopping together. The rest of the class agreed that it was a good idea. Everyone looked at Izuku and Melissa for approval. They were the class reps. Izuku nodded his head. Well, I have no reason to say no. It is a great way to build cooperation as a class. Melissa nodded her head in agreement. The group then agreed on a time and place for the outing. Meanwhile, Shigaraki had been in a foul mood since the Hozu attack and the arrest of Stain. The news had all focused on the hero killer and his action, and no one had talked about the Nomus. This made Shigaraki a less than gracious host to the new members looking to join the League of Villains. At the moment, there were two individuals seeking membership. One was a tall, lanky guy with dark hair and a patchwork face. The other was a crazy girl with fangs. She was dressed in a school uniform, even though she was way too old to be a schoolgirl. Shigaraki looked the two over and then spoke in a very harsh voice.
These two are annoying. Kurogiri, get rid of them.
After a heated exchange between Shigaraki, the new recruits, and the mob recruiter, the gray-haired man stormed out of the bar. Kurogiri apologized to the group and told them that they would get back to them about recruitment at a later date. The weekend came and 1A met at the mall. Many bystanders remarked how 1A was so good in the sports festival. The group were surprised that people were still talking about that. All of them were excited to spend the day together and have a good time. They all figured they deserved it considering all the drama that had gone down. The group decided it would be best to split up and get their supplies. They all agreed to meet back up in a few hours. Ryoko grabbed Ida and Uraraka. She asked the two to show her around the mall, being that she had not been to this location before. This left Izuku alone with Melissa. Looks like we're all alone. So it seems. I thought the idea was to have a group outing. Well, how about we stick together? Melissa smiled at the greenette. I would like that. The two walked off into the mall together. Izuku was really enjoying himself. Melissa seemed so happy today. The tall girl had a smile that stretched from ear to ear. He had not seen the girl this happy in a while. Melissa was such an amazing hero, he sometimes forgot that she was just a teenage girl at the end of the day. He figured they all needed to enjoy themselves from time to time. Suddenly, Melissa doubled over with a painful look on her face. Melissa, are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? In a pain-ridden voice, Melissa responded, I am fine. I just haven't gotten used to his ability yet. Is this about what happened at the sports festival? Melissa nodded as she gripped her head. Melissa and All Might had told Izuku that the black energy power she used in the sports festival had been a power of a previous holder of One for All. They figured she would now start manifesting the powers of the other holders. Izuku had not seen Melissa use the dark energy in a while. He figured she was still incorporating it into her fighting style and gained better control of it. The green teen knelt down beside the blonde girl and asked a silent question. Is this something new? Melissa responded in the same hushed tone. Yes, it is. Uncle might find out this power is called Danger Sense. It only activates when something is about to go wrong. It was activated in the fight with Stain. It is only supposed to activate when someone has hostile intent against me. Melissa looked confused and in pain. Izuku got a bad feeling. The teen opened his Jurian senses and scanned the area. What he felt shook him to his very core. The look on Melissa's face relaxed. She got to her feet. I feel better now. I'm still getting used to the jabbing sensation. The two continued walking. Izuku put his arm on Melissa's shoulder and pulled her close. Your power's not acting up. I sent Shigaraki in the area. Melissa was so surprised by this that she didn't even have time to think about the fact that she was so close to Izuku. Where is he? He is following us from several feet behind. Melissa glanced over her shoulder. Even with the large crowd in the mall, the thin man stood out. He was wearing a black hoodie and black pants. What do you think he wants? There is no telling with him. Melissa's mind went through all of the possibilities. After a moment, she came to the best plan of action. We need to split up, Midoriya. I don't like it, but you're right. Whoever he follows will have to lead him away from the crowd. The others should get help. Melissa nodded in agreement. She pulled away from Izuku. I need to go check on something, Midoriya. I will meet back up with you in a little while. Okay, see you soon. Even though the two acted casual, they were very tense on the inside. As Izuku walked away from Melissa, he kept his Jurian senses locked on Shigaraki. The green teen became very troubled when he realized that Shigaraki was following Melissa and not him. He observed the situation for a few more minutes to be sure. The whole time, Izuku silently thought to himself, Change course and follow me, you jerk! However, the villain did not change direction, but Melissa was keeping her cool and leading Shigaraki to a less populated part of the mall. Izuku wasted no time. He ran off at max speed, using his power to increase his speed. He knew that it was against the law to use your power in public without a license, but this was an emergency. He figured he would ask for forgiveness once Melissa was safe and Shigaraki was behind bars. The determined youth found a mall security guard. He explained the situation to the man. The guard became very concerned, but did his job. He called the police and the local heroes to the mall. Then the guard called the mall security center and told them to start evacuating the mall calmly but quickly. Before long, the bystanders had been escorted out of the mall. The heroes and police swarmed in to capture Shigaraki, but he vanished before they could capture him. Izuku ran over to Melissa, worried about her safety. It turned out that she was fine, if not a little freaked out. The green teen was again reminded of how cool Melissa was. Even though she was clearly terrified, she remained upbeat. The more Izuku got to know Melissa, the more he realized that she was a perfect successor to All Might. Both teens were taken to the police station and questioned by Detective Tsukauchi, who was leading the investigation into the League of Villains. He questioned the two extensively, making sure to get all the details about the incident that he could. After getting everything he could, the detective thanked the two for their help. He told them that this information would be very helpful in the case. He then led the two out of the police station. Night had fallen while they were being questioned. As the two exited the building and walked onto the street, a familiar voice spoke.
Melissa, young Midoriya, are you okay?
This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN allows you to change your IP address, making it harder to track and securing your privacy. In addition to providing safe passage through the web, you can also expand the reach of your favorite streaming services like Disney+. If you are from the United States, you won't be able to watch any of the MCU and Sony Spider-Man movies, but by switching your location to Japan, you can access them whenever you want. Check out the link in the description to get 3 extra months when you purchase the 12-month subscription plan that costs $9.99 a year. This deal's for a limited time. And thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. The teens saw their mentor, All Might, and smiled. The man had been gaining weight lately. Now he no longer looked emaciated. His face had filled out so that his eyes were no longer sunken, and he stood up straight. For a moment, the teens did not recognize the man. All Might, what are you doing here?
I needed to speak with him, so I called him down here.
Melissa had a worried look on her face. In fact, Izuku had noticed that she had been unusually low energy since they arrived at the police station. Uncle Might, is there ever a time when you can't save as many people as you would like? All Might got a shocked look on his face. The man was completely taken aback by this question. However, the blonde man answered right away.
Yes, I do, and often.
All Might lifted his head to the night sky.
Right now, there could be someone who is calling out for me to save them, and there is not anything I could do about it. That is why the symbol of peace is so important. So, everyone knows that a hero will come to save them.
Melissa seemed pleased and confused by that answer. Izuku agreed with this feeling. All Might's answer sounded like something his grandfather would say. Izuku, my baby, are you all right? The green teen turned to see his mother coming from the main street. Walking next to her was Ryoko. Mom, Ryoko, what are you two doing here? Ryoko answered in a perky tone. When I heard that you were taken to the police station for questioning, I called your mom to let her know. I figured you would forget. Izuku got a wigged out look on his face. He had been so concerned with the safety of everyone else that he forgot about his mother. In a panicked tone, Izuku replied, I am so sorry, Mom! Please forgive me!
It is okay, Izuku. I am not mad. It sounds like you have all been through a lot today.
Izuku nodded in agreement with that. It has been an eventful day, to be sure.
You know, when you made it into UA, I was happy for you. At the same time, I was deeply concerned for your safety. For the longest time, I'd worried that something would happen to you. Now, though, I am proud to see that you have become a capable young man with great friends to look out for you. I am so proud of you, Izuku.
The woman's words made the green-haired boy tear up. Izuku used all of his emotional willpower to keep from bursting into a river of tears. Inko then turned to Melissa.
So you are Melissa Shield. It is nice to finally meet you. Izuku has told me so much about you.
Izuku went from being emotional to embarrassed in the blink of an eye. His face turned a dark shade of vermilion. TMI, Mom!
Oh, that is nonsense, dear. How about you come over for dinner, Melissa?
Really, Mrs. Midoriya? I would love that. Melissa accepted the kind woman's invitation for two reasons. First, saying no to Mrs. Midoriya was like saying no to a puppy. Second, the encounter with Shigaraki had shaken her more than she cared to say. Melissa did not feel like being alone tonight.
Of course, dear, I insist.
Inko, Izuku, Ryoko, and Melissa all got a cab and headed back to the Midoriya family home. It was a wonderful evening with good food and great company. A few days later, Class 1A stood outside of the UA campus. They were waiting on a bus to take them to the training camp location. Many of the energetic members of the class were dancing around chanting, Camp! 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 Aizawa watched this scene and was mildly annoyed by the fact that his students were wasting so much energy. He wondered why he could not get any peace and quiet in his life. The hectic nature of the scene was made even more so when the students of 1B showed up. Nato Monoma made everyone very uncomfortable with his over-the-top support for his class. He was stopped when Kendo chopped him on the neck. The buses pulled in. Izuku and Melissa got 1A on the bus, as did Kendo with her class. The vehicles then pulled out of the parking lot and headed out. Aizawa watched his students interact. All of them were busying themselves with conversations and social interaction. The tall man decided not to correct this. He believed the class should keep their wits about them. However, this would be the last chance they would have to relax before the camp began. After a long drive, the bus stopped on a mountain road. Aizawa called for his students' attention.
It is time to get serious. We are at the halfway point.
Suddenly, two women dressed like Japanese pop girls appeared and announced themselves as the Wild Wild Pussycats. Midoriya fanboyed out at the sight of the heroes. He explained that they were a team of veteran heroes who specialized in mountain rescues. The hero known as Pixie Bob answered, That is correct, if not a little geeky. She pointed to a mountain in the distance. The camp is located at the base of that mountain. The whole of 1A remarked that the camp was a long way off. Uraraka spoke up at this moment.
If the camp is all the way over there, then why did we stop here?
Izuku remarked.
I think we all know the answer to that question.
Several of the 1A members tried to get back on the bus, but it was no use. Pixie Bob landed between the students and the bus. She then activated her quirk, which caused the ground beneath them to transform into a tidal wave, forcing them all back. This sent the whole of 1A flying over the edge of a nearby cliff into a forest below. The hero Mandalay then shouted down to the group in a cheery voice. Get moving! You kids need to make it through the beast's forest. It should take you about 3 hours. Good luck! Izuku thought to himself, The beast's forest? Pixie Bob called down, By the way, if you don't make it to camp in 4 hours, you will not get any dinner. After a little complaining about Aizawa and the Pussycats' approach, and the fact that they would not get any dinner if the time limit expired, the 1A students started to make their way into the forest. Suddenly, a giant monster appeared. Many of the students were surprised. Izuku used his Jurian senses to analyze the monster. It was made of earth and rock being held together by a strange energy. The bright teen figured it was Pixie Bob's quirk. Izuku had an idea of how to deal with this. He activated his Light Hawk power and tried to take control of the beast. However, Izuku's instincts told him that he could wrest control of the monster from Pixie Bob, but it would fall apart if he did so. Pixie Bob's power specialized in this kind of manipulation. Izuku did not have enough control or experience with his power to perform a feat like this yet. He then thought about transforming the creature into steel or something. The creature was so big, however, and Izuku had not done a transmutation that size before. There was only one thing to do. Izuku threw his hands out before him and grabbed the dirt monster with his telekinetic power. The creature froze in place, but struggled against the force being applied to his body. Izuku then used his Lighthawk power to create a solid disc of air above him. The determined young man then sent the disc flying at the creature. The disc spun as it flew toward the beast. The disc sliced through the Earth's being's neck and reduced him to the dirt he was created from. Uraraka was astounded at the sight.
Deku, that was amazing! You can create other things out of air besides just the hoverboard?
I figured that it would be a good move. I call it a slice disc.
Well, whatever you call it, it's amazing!
Another creature appeared from the forest. It approached a helpless Mineta to attack. Black energy tendrils enveloped the monstrosity. A powerful force yanked the beast away from Mineta. The boy looked over to see that he had been saved by Melissa. The dirt monster flew over the blonde girl's head as she smashed the creature into the ground using the black tendrils and said, "Black Whip, crash!" Mineta was so overcome with joy that he tried to wrap Melissa in a hug. He screamed around, "You saved my life, thank you!" However, the battle-geared blonde reacted to the sudden movement and punched the tiny boy in the face. This sent him flying away. "How could you be so cruel?" Melissa realized what she had done too late. She called after the small boy. "Sorry, Mineta." Asui was nearby. She had seen the whole thing.
Don't be too sorry, Melissa. Mineta probably had it coming, Ribbit.
Melissa then called out to all of her classmates. "We are going to have to go all out. Let's give it our all, Class A." Ryoko spoke in an affirmative tone. "You've heard our assistant class rep. Let's give it our all." The whole class responded with a powerful yeah. The only one who didn't was Bakugo. He replied with a snide, "Don't tell me what to do, Blondie." Melissa responded with a kind but firm, "Who are you calling Blondie, Blondie?" The class went to work. They used their quirks in various ways and combinations to take down their enemies. They did this for many hours. As the battle continued, they inched closer to the camp, but it was a hard going. Every time they destroyed one monster, two more would replace them. Finally, the group entered the campgrounds as the sun was setting. It has definitely been more than 4 hours since they entered the forest. They were all battered and beaten. Their uniforms were covered in dirt and some were ripped and damaged in places. Each one was breathing heavily from exhaustion. Mandalay spoke in a cheery voice. "Welcome to the camp! We are glad to see that you all made it." Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to thank our patrons, Beauty Flames, Ethan Davis, Terry Chills, Shifter Melees, Adam Zadgel, Zill, XAV Beat 03, and Joshua Phelps. Secondly, I also like to thank all of our YouTube members, Toya Costa, Rob the King, Sith Lord 906, CF2364 and Knuckles, Remia Tempest, Angel Juarez, Donald C. Stewart, Bryant Greer, and Demonized Fox. Thirdly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has you covered. Our We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Fourthly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. And if you want more content from me, check me out on my streams at Trina Do Heart on Twitch and also my YouTube on Trina Do Heart and Twitter as well. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching and have a great day.